Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play episode. We're planning on transforming this boring old lake into a gorgeous ruined area with a creeper farm. And not just any creeper farm, an automatic creeper farm. And well, why are we doing this? Because currently we've got our big automated sugarcane farm. However, we're currently having to rely on gunpowder from creepers that just randomly spawn, and that is not efficient. There's going to be three main stages to this. We're going to A, transform this lake. That means pretty much improving the shape, doing some nicer colours. We're then going to improve this ruined nether portal and use that as the entrance to our mob farm. And then finally, we'll build the mob farm. Without further ado, as you can see, I've got 4 shulker boxes in my inventory. I'm going to go scour around, see what materials I've got left from the earlier episodes. You can always trust on this area to have plenty of grass for me. And there's definitely quite a bit in here. Ooh, this is good. There's a few bits and bats in here, which we'll definitely take. We're going to need more, that's for sure. Nothing in there. And quite a bit in here. But looking at what materials we actually need, we're going to need more soulstone, more muddy mangrove roots, mangrove logs, spruce and dark oak. And obviously we're going to need a lot more mud. But before we do anything, let's just come over here and place down... We'll set this up as like a little home base, I guess. I think realistically we are going to have to head over to the mangrove biome. And then back to our spruce biome. And then the dark oak. Pretty much a bit of a biome crawl, you could say. But let's head over there. Right, well, we're here, just. And we need the roots and the trees, pretty much. And we're going to need a lot. Thankfully, it's really easy to chop down. And I forgot how much of a pain it was to chop the trees down. Oh, dear. New idea, we'll work from the top. I remember now why people use tree farms. I think this could take us a sweet, sweet time. Now, I don't know about you, but I think we should cue the time lapse. And we're back, and as you can see, we're just repairing our tools super quickly, just because that took a bit of a toll on us. So we're almost done with our axe and our shovel, and we didn't really use anything else in there, okay? But let's head back now. What is he doing up here? We've already got everything over here. We've made a little home base. We've got all our dirt, our soul sand. We've got our spruce and dark oak. All our mud, muddy mangrove roots. We're probably going to need more mud if we're turning the whole base into mud, but we can worry about that later. That's why we've got a mud farm. And then obviously all our grass, mangrove wood, a bit of mossy cobble, lots of leaves, and some saplings. So I think by looking at this, the shape is a bit ugly. So I think the first thing we're going to do is with our grass, probably just reshape just areas of it, just so it's nicer. And then we'll come in with all of our blocks that we've just obtained, do a little marsh area, and then we'll fill in all the mud. And then we'll have to go and get some seagrass, some kelp, blah, 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 blah. If I just take some grass and some dirt, and I'm just going to bring it along here. And we'll swoop it around here. I think we might take out a bit of this cliff. All right, yeah, that's definitely a start. And then we'll be able to bring it up. And I'm thinking here, in maybe the next episode, after reading some comments, everyone wants to see like a mining village. So I'm thinking we could do like a cliffside mining village here. Let me know down below if you think we should do that. We're just going to quickly take this shaping and finish it the whole way around. And then we'll do a bit of terraforming, just sloping it up. Right, we finished that outline. And as you can see, we have been quite ambitious. So I think we might as well jump into a time lapse and start fixing these areas. This is looking miles better already. As you can see, we've just got this one last bit and minimal grass remaining. So we're going to work something out over here. And then the plan is we're going to regroup. And then the next stage is to start doing the marsh like what we've going on down here. So let's just quickly work something out with this. And there we go. I'd say this is looking a lot better. So as you can see over in these two areas, I've just planted a lot of trees and I've replaced a lot of the plants from up there just so the flower forest blends in. Here I've just spread out the fields and placed some more sunflowers. Maybe one day we'll smoothen this all out and increase the amount of sunflowers. And then obviously over here I've just kept the forest very simple. But that's the first of this lake done. We now need to add all this, which is going to be a pain. We've got all of our resources, so I think the best thing to do is just do it step by step. I think I'll start off doing the dark oak stairs, then I'll do all these blocks, then I'll do this section. Let me grab my dark oak. I'll make all that into stairs. We'll just go along and we'll make this shape just a little nicer. There we go, that's step one complete. Now I just need to grab all of my texturing blocks. And I'll start by just removing a large section of grass. And then it's just simply a matter of just placing these in absolutely no particular order, just until the point where it looks muddy and deranged pretty much. Feels quite a shame really, because I feel like I've just placed all this grass, but already it's looking a lot better. So again, we just need to do this the whole way around the river. Right, that's arguably one of the most annoying jobs done. And for the final stage, we just need to add our cobblestone and our spruce, which thankfully is quite simple. Put half of it into stairs, half of it into slabs. And we'll start off with our mossy cobble. We simply place just completely randomly. And then we come back in soon with our spruce. And we just bring it the whole way around. We're almost halfway now. And it's already looking miles better. Just need a few more. And I think that's good. Let's just double check we've not missed anywhere. And this is really starting to come together. This is looking awesome. So now we'll quickly take a nap. And I'll dump them in the leftovers. And we will grab all of our spruce. Some stairs, some slabs, and some pressure plates. And we're just doing our mixture again, mixing everything in, just for the complete blend. And I'm going to be honest, I'm completely waffling. It just looks cool. There we go. And oh my days, this is looking awesome. Now, it took a fair while, but we've done it. Let's now dump all this in our spares box. And the final job is this riverbed. As you can see here, we've just replaced everything to mud, and we've chucked some seagrass. So we're going to need a lot. And we're going to have to place a lot of blocks for this. And how much have we got? About 18 stacks. I mean, that's not going to be enough. So I think it's literally just a matter of mining and then replacing. Quite a monotonous job. But what I think, without further ado, let's cue the mini time lapse. Right, well, that's finally done. And I've got to say, that is looking gorgeous. So the final thing we need to do now is just add a bit of kelp into the bottom and some seagrass. However, we don't have either of those materials. So we are going to quickly grab some iron. And we're going to make a few shears. And we're just going to, I think, fly to the local ocean, and we'll just grab kelp and some seagrass. I mean, I don't think we need too much, but just enough to add a bit of greenery to the bottom of the lake. How are we looking there? We're getting there. Definitely not enough though. I think we're just going to go until we've used all 3 of these shears up, and we'll just see where we're at. Right, I think that should be plenty. We don't need any more kelp, as that grows naturally, so we'll head back. We will need to remove this ruined portal, actually, before we build our new and improved one. But we'll plant all this kelp first. Right, that's the kelp in. We now just need to go in with our seagrass and place that pretty much here, there, and everywhere. And there we go. We finished our lake. As you can see, all our kelp's grown, and We've got seagrass everywhere now. I don't know, towards the end, we might come back, chuck some, like, I don't know, sea pickles, stuff like that, and just to make it a little bit nicer. But for now, we've finished the first step of this transformation. So the next stage, we need to transform this ruined nether portal into A, an actual ruined portal, B, an entrance for our creeper farm. In terms of this ruined portal, I think first we need to look at what materials we've actually got left. So I'm going to take all this cobblestone, and I'm going to take this mycelium, and brown mushroom blocks. I'm thinking I could do something with that. What about over in our leftover boxes? A lot of stone will always come in handy. We've obviously got cobblestone, and we've got some gravel and some andesite left over. And I'm assuming these last few blocks that I want, I'm not going to have any of. Oh, granite. Never mind. I do have a bit. But I'm after, particularly, is some light grey terracotta, I think. Like what we've got over here, because I want to do a similar gradient to that. However, we're completely out. And as we don't have anyone who sells it, we're going to have to go to the mesa. Here we go. And we'll just take a fair bit of this. And it's not insta-mine. Right. Right, I think just under 2 stacks will be enough. And I've got some shears because I'm going to take a few dead bushes. The idea I want to go for is like a little island in the middle of the lake, which used to be lush. So I'm thinking dead trees, dead bushes, with a bit of a broken down fortress, and obviously the portal in the middle. And I think before we do anything else, we're just going to quickly remove all of this. There we go. That's everything we need, I think. So I'm going to sleep quickly, and then we'll have a look at where we want to build this island. I'm going to grab a bit of stone for this then. There we go. And I've just done a really wacky outline, which I think is a good size. Bang in the middle. I think the idea is we'll do a very basic, like, little rough, not beach, but a bit of terrain, and then we'll have some rocks leading to a netherite basis with a fortress on top. So before I jump into the time lapse, I think we're just going to build the base of this. So the rocks and the actual floor. And I think we might just start off maybe around here and do a little trim of slabs, followed by maybe some mycelium and some coarse dirt. And we'll just do something super simple for this. And we'll go back one here, maybe have like a bit of a crack. And we'll just keep going up until about here, because I want to slope the terrain up as if there's like natural stairs there maybe. But if I just grab some dead bushes and some brown mushrooms, I'll just place a couple here and there. Right, perfect. I like that. So I think I'm going to repeat that the whole way round. And then I'm not too sure what we'll do up here yet. Right, as you can see, we've just brought the rocks the whole way round. So I think for now, we're just going to cover this all in netherite. And we should have plenty from this ruined portal alone, I'm going to be honest. Eventually, we'll add paths and some texture in. But it just provides us like a little base to work on whilst we build the fortress itself. Right, there we go. So we've set up a little base over here for all our stuff. We've placed the netherrack with quite a few stacks spare, which is good. So I think now we're going to jump into a time lapse and build this fortress. Now that is looking awesome. Holy, we've done a good job. So obviously you walk up these stairs through like a little gateway. You've got multiple paths up until your main portal. And it's just a very simple design. And in terms of the creeper farm, I've just done or started a little staircase down here which we can use and eventually lead us. But for now, there's 2 bits I want to work on. I want to start by adding a couple more islands with trees. And then I need to fix this because as you can see, it's currently floating. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to quickly deal with the islands and I'll deal with the lake bed, just making sure these islands aren't floating. And then we'll regroup and we'll start to prep the creeper farm. All right, there we go. Now that's much better. As you can see, I've just added a few rock formations around the side with some dead trees on. I've also added just a bit of like a bridge kind of pier thing so we can access it by boat. And then as you can see, I've just brought it all to the ground so it blends in a lot better. But that is our finished ruined portal transformation. So we are almost done with this project. There is just one more thing we need to do, and that's the creeper farm. So like I explained, we've got a bit of an entrance. However, I think the plan is to grab some dimensions. So we've done our research and we need to dig out about a 29 by 29 sized hole. And I'm not too sure how deep I want to go with this yet, but we'll just grab our beacon because I'm not digging this without haste. So we'll just dig down for a fair bit. I think we'll keep going just a bit longer. And I think this is about a good depth. So we'll build the beacon, and then we'll build our base layer at the top. And then we know exactly how much we need to dig. Right, we've got our beacon, we've got our dimensions, so we need to go up there and start digging. So I've done some calculations, and it's this Y level we can start digging, and that's because this is where the lake bed is, so we don't want water imposing on us. But without further ado, let's cue the time lapse. Right, as you can see, we're making good progress. We're almost at the bottom. Our inventory's full, and the next problem pursuits. We're almost out of durability on both our pickaxes, so I think our plan is we're going to head to the XP farm, repair these. We're going to keep bringing this down, filling these chests up, and then we know exactly how much space we've got to work with. All right, so we're back, and we have finished our hole. So this should be plenty of space for a creeper farm. So we now need to collate all our materials and, you guessed it, build the farm. Now's a good time to say that this tutorial I'll be following is by a creator called Shulkercraft, in which I'll leave another link down below. So we'll just take this shulker box for now. We've got loads of building blocks down there, and actually because of the amount of trapdoors we need, we're going to take some of that wood. And I'm actually looking at the building material list, and we should have most of it. We just need redstone torches. Obviously, we'll grab some iron, and we will make some hoppers and another minecart with a hopper. We've got some rails, got 2 water buckets. Final 2 resources we need are observers and repeaters, so we need quartz and magma blocks. So I'm just going to quickly bob to the nether. Now, this should be a very quick task. We don't need too much. I think we need about a stack of each. And now we just need to find our portal. We really need to start marking our portal because we end up encountering the same problem every time. There we go. There we go. That should be everything we need. And we'll take this stuff back over there. Right, there we go. So we've got them, and we've got plenty of blocks. So I think it's about time we build a creeper farm.
This is the song for you.
Right, so we're back, and as you can see by the clip, it's working, and it's working well. However, because of the location, I haven't actually put anything down here, as you can see, because the only way of going down here would be to go right through the center of the farm. So we're going to save this for something else another time. And instead, what I've done is if you fly into the lake, well, where those wandering traders are, there's a hole which you can fly right through and drop down. What is the collection zone? But there's one more thing we need to think about this before we're finished. How do our villagers get to and from this island without having to swim? Maybe this wandering villager sets up camp round here with a little dock and a little boat and offers safe passage to and from the island. Isn't that right? Haha. There we go. So we'll just make sure you don't go anywhere whilst we set up camp. And I'm thinking just maybe like a tent, campfire, and a little dock. But I could just do with dealing with some of this forest and a bit of a path. So I know exactly what I'm working with. I think it'd be nice to just clear it all out for now. And then we know exactly how much space we're working with in terms of a path, bridge, and working our way down here. So epic transformation coming in 3, 2, 1. There we go. And it means we'll have just so much more space to work with. I'm thinking we'll do the camp around there. And maybe in the future episodes, we'll just bring these fields out a little further. And then once we finish the camp, we can just blend it back into the forest. So bring trees back round here, up and around. But first, before we do that, I just want to make a little path coming round here with a bridge and then swinging back round, connecting to over there. But let's just dump all this wood that we've got because it'll definitely come in handy within the future. Right, so now that this is cleared, I've got some packed mud and some coarse dirt. So I'm thinking just something simple along like this way. And we'll just chop a bit of that out. And we'll just fill all of this in with our mud. I've just grabbed a few fences and some cobblestone and stuff. And we're just going to do what we do with our other mud paths. And that's just a bit of colouring. And we'll just chuck a few bits of lighting on. Right, perfect. And then we'll just do something similar over there, but coarse dirt. Right, there we go. We've just got a nice little coarse dirt path winding round, and it lines us up perfectly to that path. We're just going to do a super quick bridge in which will connect these two paths, and it'll allow just a nice bit of accessibility around the kingdom. There we go. That should do us quite nicely. And, well, it does the job. We can walk across it. And it actually sets up a really nice view overlooking what we've got so far down this river and the kingdom. But I'm thinking definitely here, maybe in between episodes, we will just bring out the fields and just do a couple more. But for now, our job is to build this little camp for the wandering traders so they can ferry people to and from the ruined portal. Let's just quickly clear our inventory and gather some resources. So I've just quickly cleared a bit of space around here and just made a little workstation for myself. And I think I'm just going to do a little tent, maybe a campsite, stables for the llamas, and then we'll just lead it down to here where we'll have like a pier. So if I just grab a bit of wool for this tent, we'll take some blue and some yellow, I think. And it really does not need to be that big. And we'll just bring it all up. Perfect. And then here, instead of wool, we'll just do a simple door frame, I think. And then on the top, we need to curve it up. And we'll chuck some walls on it. Alright, so after some trial and error, as you can see, just kind of curved it up, trying to keep the stripes. And I think that does a very good job. And because we've got a few leftover stained glass walls, I think I'm just going to place them around here. I think we'll just use the blue ones, actually. This inside, then, I think I'll just do something super simple. I'll add a door. I'll add another door. I'll add a floor with a bed and a nice little workstation. And we'll finish with a few pots and pans. So that's his tent complete. We now need a stable to hold the llamas, a campsite where we can relax, and a dock where the boat will sit. We'll start with the campsite because that's the easiest to do. I'm just going to clear out some space around here, I think. I think to combat this harsh transition, I'm just going to build a few rocks as if it's holding it up. Much better. So I think now we're going to run a little coarse dirt path from this door coming down, and we'll turn all of this into coarse dirt, and we'll have our campsite just sitting here. So we'll bring this path just coming up down here. Let's think. I'm thinking we'll have the campsite about there's perfect. We just need to convert all this into coarse dirt. Right, nice. We're getting somewhere. I think the dock will lead down here, so we'll just actually quickly do this path. There we go. We'll come back to the dock in a minute, though. I think now we'll chuck a campfire there. I think we might just add something around it, like some stone or something, and we'll just chuck a bit of decoration there, maybe. Lovely jubbly. Very nice and cozy. But I think now the final thing we need to do is the stables. And again, this is going to be super simple. I'm just going to convert some of this space into coarse dirt. And I think I'm going to recycle some of these resources that I've got, and we'll just do very simple style of fences. They can sit in there. We just need to put a roof on like that. There we go. There's the roof. And I think that's a nice little stable. It really does the job, so the llamas can each have a pen to themselves. So the final thing now we need to do is the dock. And I think we'll start with some trapdoors as a base. We'll put the lantern in the front so we can see where we're going. I think sails-wise, something like that, and then we might actually put one here. Actually, though, I feel like these sails are too clean, though. If I get some yellow banners, chuck them in there with some white dye, get a white gradient at the top and a white gradient at the bottom. Let's try it now. Oh my days, that is so much better. There we go. So our wandering trader camp's finished. But speaking of wandering trader, are you joking? Where's it gone? Have I ended up with an enderman and no wandering trader? So you're telling me I built all that for nothing? I think the final thing is now, I'm just going to replant some saplings, get this forest to come back a bit, and then I think we're almost done. All right, well, we've tidied everything up, and as you can see, I've been very busy off camera, and I've made a lot of custom trees. Obviously, I've grown a massive forest. Well, that's perfect. I'm really happy with how this is all turning out. We leave the town, and we can cross over to the bridge, where we see in the distance a mystical ruin. If we come across, we can come through the forest to a secret little camp where we can walk in and speak to what would be the wandering trader wherever he's gone. And then we take a boat down the river to the ruined portal, or alternatively, if you dig deep, to the creeper farm. Overall, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. And if you've got this far, I want you to comment down below, Fortress. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought and what we should build next. But for now, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.